Hi everyone, I'm Rod the Aussie IT Contractor, and this time I'm sharing my tips on nailing that job interview. Having contracted for a couple of decades, I've had to interview for a lot of jobs, so here are some of the skills and tricks that I've picked up along the way. Don't be nervous about the competition. Keep in mind that conducting interviews is a time-consuming process and takes the interviewer away from all of the work that they should otherwise be completing. They don't want to interview any more applicants than necessary. So if you've been offered an interview, you are likely to be on the shortlist of 3 or 4 candidates. So you've already beaten most of the competition and your odds of landing that job are really good. The pre-interview recon mission. If I'm unfamiliar with the interview location, I'll conduct a recon mission a few days before the interview. I like to know where the office is, how do I get there, and what the travel time is like. It also gives me a good chance to look around the area. If I land this job, will I like working in that location? Are there cafes to grab lunch, or a coffee shop, or a bookshop, or park that I can hang out at lunchtime? If I'm going to be spending a lot of time there, is it in a nice location? Plus, the familiarisation with the area helps take a little of the stress out of the interview day. It's the day of the interview and my recon's paid off. I know where the building is and I've arrived about 15 minutes before the interview start time. There's no point getting there an hour beforehand because all that sitting around time just adds to the nervousness. When checking in with the concierge or reception desk, I plan to be there about 5 minutes before the interview. Checking in too early pulls the interviewer out of their interview prep or their day job, and checking right on the interview time actually eats into the time reserved for your interview, as the interviewer still needs to get to you after being told that you've arrived. My next tip is the whole time that you are there in the building is part of your interview. It should go without saying, but being polite and friendly with the reception staff will put you in the right frame of mind for your interview, and you never know who is going to see you while you're in the lobby. The interview itself starts the moment you greet your interviewer and continues until you've said your goodbyes at the end and you've exited the building. If the interviewer comes to collect you from reception, the journey from the lobby to the interview room is important. Fill this time by engaging in small talk. You are putting yourself and the interviewer at ease, as well as showing that you have the personality and interpersonal skills needed to be a good team player. Those interactions do leave a big impression on the interviewer. After all, they are likely to be working with you if you are successful at getting the job, and their first impressions really do count. The interview structure. In order for an interviewer to be able to compare candidates fairly, they tend to use the same structure across each individual candidate. This means that they can test the candidates for the same topics and check the answers to see which candidate they believe holds the skills and experience that they're looking for. Firstly, the introduction. The interviewer will provide details of the role and, particularly for contractors, the project that the role is for or the area of the business that it exists in. Listen carefully for clues at this point, because the details given here can point you to the skills or experience that they are looking for the most. The first question is generally something along the lines of, tell me about yourself or tell me about your experience. This leading question is asking you for a synopsis of your career, but don't use it to detail every single job you've held since your after-school gig at the Scottish restaurant. Targeting the roles that you feel best fit the company, role and projects you're interviewing for instead. If you've listened to the clues the interviewer has just given in the overview, you can focus on those skills and experience of the most interest to that interviewer. Provide real-world examples and talk about where you've gained them. Keep it concise and on topic. I aim for taking no longer than 60 seconds in this summary. Situational questions will use the formula of, can you tell me of a time when you, blah blah blah. In general, these cover skills like managing conflicting priorities, dealing with difficult people, or working on a project with unclear scope or objectives. The interviewer is looking for your problem solving skills, and you should be providing real world examples like, when I was with Team X at Company Y, I had a difficult project sponsor and I resolved the situation by developing and understanding their business issues and work with them to resolve it. Another standard question is, tell me a negative point about yourself. Now, the standard response to this is to regale the interviewer with an answer that is a negative but is really a positive. Oh, I'm a workaholic and never know when to quit at the end of the day. That line was fresh 30 years ago, but today it's pretty stale. Instead, talk about something that you are working on improving, like, I get nervous talking in front of groups, but I am attending Toastmasters to improve my public speaking confidence. This answers the question that was asked in an honest manner, but also shows that you are working to resolve the issue. Are the trick questions? I haven't had one of these, but there are interviewers that think they are somehow able to psychologically analyse a candidate's answer without them actually holding a qualification in the field, so you may encounter them. Some of the well-known questions of this type are: how many phone boxes or public toilets or traffic lights are there in this city? Now, this isn't checking if you know, rather it's an attempt to put you on the spot and test your problem-solving abilities. So the answer shouldn't be, or I don't know, but it should be, I can find out by checking Google Maps, the City Council offices, or maybe you could detail the process like, I would sample a small area and then extrapolate to the full city. Another type of question is, what animal would you be? To me, this is totally useless as it's very much a cultural question. So I would just pick one that has the traits that are desirable for that employer. I'll be a cat or dog because they are intelligent and loyal. If one of these questions catches you off guard, buy a little time with the "oh, that's a great question" gambit. Even a few seconds can help you get over the surprise of the off-the-wall question and give you a chance to formulate an answer. At the end of the interviewer may well ask you, do you have any questions for us? It's helpful to have some questions pre-prepared that you are prepared to ask, as it's showing an interest in the role. My go-to questions are about the team, like how big is it, or what's the team structure, and also about the project, what stage is it at, when is the delivery date, is it part of a larger program of work. This shows you have some interest in the role and it's not just an any job in a storm kind of job that you're applying for. At this point, it is also an opportunity to say that you are interested in the job. Give the role some praise. Say it's interesting, exciting, challenging, something that you would enjoy doing. It's going to give you an edge over the other applicants that just say thanks and leave without any further comment. After all, you want to be the one that's chosen. And it's over. Congratulations, you've made it to the end of the interview. If the person interviewing you is walking you out to the lobby, break out that small talk again. Thank them for their time and leave them with a good impression. If they've got two similarly qualified candidates applying for the role, they are likely to go with the person they find the most personable. So there you have it. I hope these tips help you in your next interview, and good luck on securing your dream job.